Hi, I'm Brien Lundin, and I am here with one of our post-metals investor forum interviews, and I'm welcoming Alexandra Sharon, the CEO of Empress Royalty. Alex, so great to talk to you again. Really like Empress. I'm proud to be an investor. I'm very glad that we have recommended the company in Gold Newsletter. And one of the things, there's so many royalty companies popping up like mushrooms after a rainstorm these days. So we have recommended in Gold Newsletter some of the more successful ones in recent history, but I'm set a very high bar for ones that I'm recommending any longer because there are so many out there. So some of the key factors I look for is I want something early in its growth cycle because we've seen the really steep growth of a lot of these royalty companies, but I'm also looking for something that differentiates the company from the pack. What is a key advantage, key element, key focus that nobody else is, in that lane? And for Empress, and one of the reasons why I invested in it early on, and obviously recommended in Gold Newsletter, is the fact that you're not out there with everyone else trying to bid on royalties or streams. You're actually, because of the partners that are behind the creation of Empress, you're actually creating royalties as part of financing packages that mines and projects need. Very interesting, and we've already seen that bear fruit. You've just closed two just in the last week, or come close to closing two in the last week. Can you give us an update on where Empress is right now in that process and how that's working?
Yeah, no, I mean, our business model is to create royalties or streams to provide financing solutions for companies so they can get the mine into production or expand upon what they have. We just recently announced that we've executed on the Talawato silver stream owned by Telson Mining. In this scenario, it's a $5 million investment for Empress. The Talawato project should be in production the end of this year, beginning of next. So that will bring revenue in for Empress then. And it's a really good example of our strategic partners coming together to provide a full financing solution. So Ascendo Banco, one of our partners, has provided the $12 million debt. We provide the $5 million stream. And then our partners, Endeavor and Ascendo, have helped evolve the equity raise they did. So it's a full $25 million financing solution. So we've executed on that. The other project that we've been advancing for a while now, and we've executed on, and now as of last week, fully funded and closed on the Manica project. And this is a gold project in Mozambique owned by MMP. This one is a 2.25% royalty for Empress. And this one should be in production in Q3. So again, bringing revenue into Empress this year.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's another key factor I look for is how close. I mean, a lot of the royalties I see companies bragging about now may not be in production for 5 years. And in my mind, having watched a lot of these projects, may never be in production, or at least even in this metal cycle. So I look for royalty companies that have near-term production or current production. Both of these royalties, as you just mentioned, are really near-term, very near-term production, will produce cash flow for Empress. And the one in Mozambique, I think it's fair to say you probably weren't bidding against very many people for that project. So the fact that these companies are coming to your partners to finance their projects means that you're naturally, by due course of business, finding royalties that no one else is really seeing.
Yeah, and that's when I look at our pipeline, it's similar to that as well. We're looking at unique opportunities because of our relationships, because of our network with our partners, but their relationships with mining companies. So we're able to identify projects that people want to get into production or, again, expand. There's one I'm looking at in Peru and one in Kenya we're pretty far advanced on. And we've got terms negotiated, exclusivity on, and we're doing due diligence on right now. Where they're in production. The one in Peru, we'd be doubling their production with the stream we provide. The one in Kenya, we've been increasing their production by a third. So those are the kind of things we're looking at, where it's much more revenue generating focused. Again, because that results in bringing revenue into Empress, and that's where we feel we can really create the value for our shareholders.
Yeah, the Telson deal was a high-profile one that was widely recommended in the junior mining space. and really in needed financing. That was the key missing factor in there. And you being part of the financing package, part of the solution, it's not just that you're finding projects that are, have a really accretive to Empress, but you're helping make those projects possible. And that really enhances the terms that you're able to get on them. Now, you just completed a very significant financing, correct?
Yes, we just raised $16.4 million. This gave us enough, we went out and raised this money to obviously fund the deals that I just mentioned, Talaweto and Manica, but also for the other opportunities that we're looking at that we feel we should be able to complete near term. So those would be more the producing assets. So we didn't want to sit in a huge treasury of cash. We wanted to be able to raise the capital and deploy it quickly into the appropriate investments. Again, very much focused on revenue generation for Empress.
That's the key point that I've been stressing to my readers, in that they've seen some volatility in the share price, and you're actually at what I think is a bargain basement level, a real opportunity for investors right now. Part of that is the announcement of a very large financing, of course, which helped create some of that weakness in the share price. What I've been telling my readers is that do the math. The financing is more than enough than the deals you already have, and you would not be timing that financing right now if you didn't have to sign a few more agreements. And so look at what is this signaling to the market? And it seems like it's signaling very significant growth in some upcoming deals. And the price right now, I think, is a gift to speculators and investors in the sector.
Yeah, and with our recent press releases, we're a very young company. We just started in July. We only started trading at the very end of December. So a very young company, but we've delivered on all of the deals that we said we would. And we've just strengthened our board and our strategic advisors. So we're young, we're growing, but we are delivering on what we're saying. And that's what we plan on doing, is to continue to execute and deliver and stay focused on bringing, again, revenue into Empress.
Young and growing is one of those key attributes, again, that I look for early in the cycle. We've seen a number of companies that I've recommended in Gold Newsletter, without mentioning names, one in particular at a similar level a couple of years ago, and that's been about an 8-bagger for our readers since. So that's why I like to get in early. You just mentioned, again, alluded to your partners. Can you talk a bit about that as a differentiating factor for Empress?
So we have 3 strategic partners. One is Endeavour Financial out of London. Endeavour Financial is run by David Rhodes, so a very well-established global mining finance investment banking firm. I'm actually ex-Endeavour Financial, so worked closely with David for many years. And David is our executive chairman, so very much hands-on with Empress. And this gives us access to a global network of mining partner investment opportunities. The vision of Empress sort of came through David, and when we were looking at it, you look over where Wheaton started and some of the big royalty companies and the streams they were doing were looking at much larger opportunities. And when David looks at the market and was looking from the Endeavour side, we recognized the junior side was underserved in the creation of royalties and streams. So that sort of $1 to $15 to $20 million market wasn't being served by the creation side. And that's kind of what hatched the idea of Empress. That was also teamed up with our partner Terra Capital in Australia, which is run by Jeremy Bond, who's also one of our directors and on our investment committee. Gives us access to Australian deals, Australian listed companies with projects internationally, as well as Jeremy's been an active investor in the Canadian mining space for the last 10 years, gives us a fantastic capital markets network and access to capital. And then we signed a strategic alliance with Ascendo Banco in Mexico. Obviously, this is a great demonstration of the relationship between the two companies. We did Candelaria, the Pinos project in November, and we've just announced we've executed on the Telson silver stream. So that's a really good balance. They look in the same size of the market as us. And Javier just recently joined as a strategic advisor to the Empress team.
Well, Alex, I really appreciate the update with backers like that. I know your deal flow has to be tremendous, and you can actually be selective in the deals that you're getting, unlike a lot of the newcomers to the royalty space. And I'm very positive and bullish on the company and what we're going to be seeing from the company in the days and weeks just ahead. Thank you again for the update today. The symbol again is EMPR on the Toronto Venture Exchange. Very highly recommended in Gold Newsletter. I'm glad that you're in our Gold Newsletter portfolio, and I know you and your team are going to make a lot of money for our readers. So thanks again for the update.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.